Reviewing NHL games of November 14th, 2018. There were 4 games on tonight. Last one finished a little late, had a late start in Vegas, so let's get to the board. Chicago beat St. Louis 1-0. This is a really tight game. This was a win for Chicago's new coach, which was great, his first NHL win, period. And what can I say? St. Louis really needed this game for so many reasons. And, I mean, it was 1-0 game. You can't blame the goalies on this one. You got to score goals. And there wasn't many power play opportunities, too. I did not catch most of this game. But and when you hear how the only goal was scored, yeah. In any case, so let's start off with the first period. No goals. The only goal of the game comes in the second period, scored by Seabrook, who gets his third of the season, assisted by, on the power play, assisted by Taves and Kane. Now, this actually was pushed into the net because it was sitting behind Jake Allen, who was goaltending for St. Louis, was pushed in behind Brouwer, who was sitting, was on his knees behind him, trying to block it, at the empty side of the net. And he literally moved his leg and then pushed it. I don't know why I'm making the motion. You can't see what I'm doing. He pushed the puck into the net with his leg. So, ouch. And when that's the only goal of the game, wow. So, yeah, so Chicago obviously goes 1 for 2 on the power play. St. Louis goes 0 for 1. Crawford has a shutout. Is he rounding in the form? We'll see in the coming games. Allen saves 18 of 19. Again, you can't blame him on this one. I mean, St. Louis did get 28 shots on the day. Yeah, when your team only has 19 on the night, you think it shouldn't be winning the game. Chicago's now 7-8-4 with 18 points. St. Louis is now 6-7-3. With 15. What's going to give in Louis for St. Louis? I know we keep saying this every time they lose, really, but how long is Mike Yeo is going to stay as coach, and or until maybe a trade is made? William Nylander, anyone? I know they like Parienko. Moving on, because they look like they could use to score some goals. However, I believe St. Louis is up there amongst teams with the most goals per game. So, in any case, Winnipeg Jets beat the Washington Capitals 3-1. In the first period, Washington starts off the scoring with Verana on a wicked shot. There was some bodies flying around. I mean, he sort of saw it. Hellebuck sort of saw the shot, but it was just a perfectly placed shot from the top of the circle. On a transition play. It's hard to blame him on that one. Assisted by Bowie and Orlov. In the second period, Winnipeg ties it up on the power play. I believe it's the number 1 power play in the league. Yeah, and Washington has the number 2 percentage-wise in the league up until this game. And they just killed it. Just a beautiful pass and play. I think Blake Wheeler, both Blake Wheeler and Connor got an assist on this, but Blake Wheeler, I think, stretches out his points streak to like 11 games or something. So yeah, he's been the unstoppable force. And in the third period, and it seemed like maybe Washington had more of the higher end chances in this one. Hellebuck just shut the door, and then there was this goal when Winnipeg in the third made it 2-1 on a goal by Sherratt, his third of the season, assisted by Tanev. This was from somewhat of the middle of the ice towards the top of the left circle, and I think was it Copley? Copley is the backup. He started tonight, and it was a last-minute change. Holtby was supposed to start, so we don't know what happened with him. And Copley started, and he should have had that one. I think it went under his glove. He clearly saw it. I think he got a piece of it, but that was the game winner right there. So because this one was an empty netter, Connor gets the second point of the game. And to add insult to injury, Kuznetsov got it was a penalty on Winnipeg. It was called by Tanev on Tanev. It was a check to the head. It was more like a bump, you know. But why am I trying to show you? Kuznetsov sort of had his head lower and was trying to look for the puck and sort of had it on his stick, and Tanev came by and just boom and bumped him right in the head and just like right here in the face, and he never came back. So they're thinking it might be a concussion. That's a big loss, obviously, for Washington. And then Oshie kind of like got body slammed in an awkward, crumpled upside down, and then he left the game. So two huge losses for Washington, especially when they're not doing so well in the first place. This roller coaster of a year they're having so far. So Winnipeg goes 1 for 3 on the power play. Washington goes 0 for 3. They really missed these two guys. Hellebuck made 27 of 28 saves. He looked pretty sharp. Copley made 21 for 23. I mean, with the exception of that one goal, otherwise he was pretty good, and you can't blame him on that power play goal at all. So Winnipeg is now 11-5-1 with 23 points. Washington's 8-7-3 with 19. If they can string off a couple, 2-3 wins in a row, they'll be fine. But I believe they're on a Western Coast trip right now, and some good teams out there. Speaking of some good teams with some great lines, this was sort of the game of the evening. I mean, both these two games were. I watched most of this and most of this one as well. I missed most of this game, and I only saw some sort of pieces of this Vegas game. But in any case, Colorado Avalanche beat Boston Bruins 6-3. This was, for me, the bigger game of the night because of obviously all the goals scored, but also because it's the two top lines in the league facing off against each other in terms of Bergeron and Marchand and Pasternak and McKinnon, Landeskog and Rantanen. And guess who won? Colorado opens the scoring. Landeskog gets his 12th of the season, assisted by Rantanen. Boston then evens it up on a power play goal. Both teams have really good power plays. Obviously, they just put their first line on the ice, really. Pasternak gets his 17th of the year, his league-leading 17th goal, assisted by Krejci and Grzelcyk. Then Boston goes ahead 2-1 in the first. DeBrusk gets his 6th of the season unassisted. He's picking it up as well. And in the second period, more of the same. DeBrusk again gets his 7th of the year on the power play, assisted by, you got it, Pasternak and Bergeron. And then, Colorado wakes up. I mean, Colorado seemed to be somewhat of the better team, but, when you're giving either team like this chances on the power play, you're going to pay for it. And you'll see that when we look at the final power play statistics here. But Rantanen makes it 3-2 with his 7th goal of the season on the power play, assisted by McKinnon and Barrie. So the game, we then go into the third, and it's just all Colorado with the help of a little more help of the power play here. Calvert gets his 2nd goal of the year unassisted to tie the game. By the way, this goal, I'm digressing a bit here, but this last Boston goal, Boston's 2nd goal, DeBrusk's 1st of the night unassisted, was just a breakaway. It was a clean break. You couldn't blame Varlamov on it, and he had some good moves. He kind of zigged and zagged and popped it in the left-hand corner. And I really, either goaltender, I'd say maybe Halak let in one goal, which is a little bit iffy. That kind of squeezed in between his body and his arm. And you can say a lot of goaltenders are letting in more goals like that this season because of the new goalie equipment restrictions, which are tighter in the chest piece. So I know a lot of them are getting more used to that, and you're seeing more goals scored that way. But every goal tonight was, for the most part, was either a tip, or it was just a high in the slot scoring chance by a high end elite player. So it was really hard to blame either goalies in this one, even though there was 9 goals scored. But moving on, getting back to the Calvert, pops in his second of the year unassisted. Then McKinnon, Colorado takes the lead, gets his 12th of the year, assisted by Rantanen and Cole, veteran defenseman. Then Colorado makes it 5-3. Yost gets his third on the power play, unassisted, and then Colorado makes it 6-3. Bergeron took 2 very untimely penalties in this game, which is very unlike him. But in the first one, I believe they did give the Colorado player, they were coinciding penalties. The Colorado player also got one for diving. But this one was the one he got on, I believe, for this last goal was a straight up hooking call. In any case, Kerfoot gets his 4th of the season on the power play, assisted by Soderberg and Girard. Boston goes 2-for-3 on the power play, and Colorado goes 3-for-3. So neither of these teams really wanted to take a penalty. They're both very dangerous on the power. They both sit, I believe, top 5 when it comes to the PP in the league. So, yeah. Halak made 19 of 25 saves. Varlamov made 20 of 23. Side note, Chara left the game in the second period with a lower body injury. He seemed to go in to check a player, and then it looked like his knee hit the boards hard. So that's what I think it might be. But, I mean, Boston came into the game with only 2 regulars in the lineup, I believe, according to the announcer, on defense. And then they lost Chara, and then they were playing from, I want to say, midway through the second period on, so they were playing with 5D. So, and Colorado just went in for the kill, really. And that was the game. So Boston's now 10-6-2 with 22 points. Colorado's now 9-6-3 with 21. Last game of the night, late game, started at 7:30 Pacific, 10:30 Eastern. Vegas Golden Knights win 5-0 over the Anaheim Ducks. Fleury gets a shutout on this one. First period, Tuck gets his 5th goal of the season on the power play, assisted by Pacioretty and Miller. Pacioretty's getting on the board more often now. Second period, Eakin gets his 6th of the season, assisted by Tuck and Pacioretty. Tuck and Pacioretty get their 2nd point of the game. Holden then scores to make it 3-0 for Vegas, unassisted. And then Eakin gets his 7th of the season shorthanded. Nothing was going wrong for Anaheim, going right for Anaheim in this game. Assisted by Carpenter. And that was Eakin's 2nd goal of the game. And then in the third period, Anaheim was kind of lucky. Vegas only scored once in the third because they took a whole lot of penalties. But in any case, Haika got his 1st goal of the season, assisted by Nosek and Holden. Holden gets his 2nd point of the night. Anaheim goes 0-for-4 on the power play. Vegas goes 1-for-6. And they still scored 5 goals. So, again, Anaheim is very lucky. This score wasn't even, could have been 7-0. And Vegas has got to look at their special teams here. And Anaheim is, Gibson was pulled, I want to say, in the second period. Miller saved 11 of 13 shots. So, it didn't really matter who was in net. Fleury had the shutout, saved 29 shots. The Ducks are now 8-9-3 with 19 points. And the Vegas Golden Knights are now 8-10-1 with 17. So Vegas has been having this roller coaster of a season. I think this is a couple of wins in a row they've put together now. I want to say Fleury had a really good game, obviously. But what's Anaheim going to do? I foresee if they lose one more game. I know Murray, their GM, is a patient man, but and I know he doesn't want to fire his buddy Carlisle behind the bench, but it's either that or you might see a trade happening. Again, speaking about William Nylander, I know the Leafs like Montour. People have been talking about maybe, a Montour-Richie package in social media. And on Sportsnet, I believe I heard that one. They were talking about possible trades, what might be going each way, and that was with Nick Kyprios and another analyst. And I can't remember his name at the moment or just who it was, but in any case, that's it for the games of the night. Tomorrow we've got on Thursday, November 15th, we've got 9 games. It's going to be a heavy night. New York Rangers versus the New York Islanders. New Jersey Devils versus the Philadelphia Flyers, Tampa Bay Lightning versus the Pittsburgh Penguins, who are reeling right now, who just made a big trade today on the 14th. If you didn't know about that, Tanner Pearson went to Pittsburgh, and Carl Hagelin, it was a 1-for-1 trade, went the other way. I may do a video on that tomorrow talking about the details of each player. But moving on, Florida Panthers versus the Columbus Blue Jackets, Detroit Red Wings versus the Ottawa Senators. Who's Can versus Minnesota? Oh my God, I can't. I'm trying to think of who that is. The Canadians? No, because they're over here. Well, I'll have to think about that for a second. Montreal Canadiens versus the Calgary Flames, the Nashville Predators versus the Arizona Coyotes, the Toronto Maple Leafs versus the San Jose Sharks, which should be a really good game because San Jose just won that game yesterday against Nashville after they were winning 3-0, and then Nashville came back to make it 4-3, and then San Jose came back to score 2 goals in the fourth, and Thornton, that was the game Thornton got his 400th goal. I'm just looking up how come it's the Minnesota Wild versus let's see, it's coming up. It's right here. It's coming, Minnesota Wild. I'm gonna probably smack myself in the head for this. The Vancouver Canucks. That's why. I should have put Van instead of Can. Oopsie. Thank you so much for watching. Please hit that like button if you like this video. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Please tell all your friends. If you have any Hockey Geek friends, don't feel shy about sharing. Thanks again, and I'll see you soon.